Welcome, Man in the High Castle cast and EPs. Thanks for being here. Yay! I just have a real quick question before we start. How am I supposed to know if you are you or your alternate universe doppelganger? Any clues to help me out here?
You do not know.
We'll just have to wing it from here, I guess. That said, there is some crazy stuff going on in that season 3 finale, which John kind of witnesses firsthand.
Yeah.
Rufus, let's start with you. So not only is he there when they test the tunnel, the portal, but Juliana disappears before his very eyes. Whoa, where's his head at about all of this as we head into the next season?
There's a lot. It was, I was confident in that last couple of episodes that if I just played confusion, the audience could pick what the hell was happening. Because there was so much stuff going on.
Right.
But that's why for us, coming into this season has been really exciting because it's the last one, but it's one that in a way we've been really waiting for because so many threads come together and so many things we've been wondering about get seen. So I think he is aware of this other world. He is aware of what is out there in terms of versions of his family in which things might have come. And I think that's had a massive, compulsion for him, a lure for that. So it starts off the next season in a really interesting place where you've got a rift between John and Helen. They've been apart for a long time. There's so much that goes on, so much that the audience will see that will be surprising.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into it too much. But.
Well, you mentioned Helen, Shayla. I assume she's not just off, spa day with the girls. Like she's having some.
Episode 6 is called Spa Day.
It's a bottle episode. It's good. Obviously, this wasn't an easy choice for her to make, to leave. She says, I think in the finale, I still love you, but I'm scared out of my mind. Talk to me about where she's at on the other side of their marriage.
It's interesting to me to see the evolution of this relationship from the first season to certainly where we end up in season 4. But the beginning of season 4, we see the two of them in completely different places than you've ever seen Helen and John before, literally and figuratively. And they are really trying to find a connection in a way, but she's no longer willing to play the perfect wife that she has been in the Reich, which I think is what we saw with her driving away with the girls. And yes, she still loves him. They've been together for 20 years. They've built their lives and their family together. And I've never left a marriage, but I can only imagine how difficult that would be, and particularly in this time, in our fictional 1960s. So, yeah, I think it's a really brave thing that she did, in my opinion, in protection of her daughters, and recognizing that it's going to probably break the heart of the person she loves most.
Yeah. Lisa, Danielle, David, maybe you guys can weigh in. Is there a time jump at all between where we left off in the season 3 finale and where we're picking up in season 4?
Yeah, it's a year.
A year. Okay. Something that struck me so much about watching the Statue of Liberty come down into the harbor, that was a lot, but hearing the blood and soil chants was the thing after Charlottesville that really got me. What conversations do you guys have about how much of what is happening in our current real life should be brought into the universe of Man in the High Castle? And is there any argument for keeping a distance between what's happening between the two?
How can you?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. We don't need to have conversations about what to bring in. The problem has been, isn't that right, Dan, that stories would be workshopped in the writer's room and then they'd have to take them out because they suddenly became too similar to what was happening in real life and it would seem a bit on the nose. That's really scary when you actually have to filter things out because they're accidentally drawing parallels.
You become the SVU of sci-fi.
Absolutely.
Wow.
We did the blood and soil before Charlottesville, and so it's more like the world is becoming our show. There's nothing that we're doing to try to imitate real life.
If we could not do that, we would.
That would be okay.
We
Yeah.
were just talking about this last night. I'm not so eager to be in a show that's got its finger on the pulse. That I'd rather be on one that was less on the pulse and the world was different.
Right.
It's a unique situation in that usually a show will take its themes from real life, whereas in this case, real life basically came to this show. When this show started, none of this stuff, all this stuff was pure science fiction, as it were, and it's become more relevant day by day, and that's not usually how it goes. And so in a sense,
ideal world.
so I think think in season 4 we've leaned into some of those questions, which is, where does this go? Where does this end up? What is the destiny of people who are part of this, world? Like, what does it mean for them individually to be part? And those resonances, I think, really work very well dramatically for it.
So that brings in our resistance fighters, right? Like, you guys are just the last great hope. So let's get to Jason.
No pressure.
No pressure. No pressure. The finale did teach me that the pornography business can be our friend here, right?
That's the moral of it. Yeah.
Exactly. Wyatt doesn't know what's happened to Juliana in the finale, correct?
No, and she's just sort of disappeared in a similar way in that mine shaft. He doesn't know where she's gone. Yeah.
I know he was there when the testing was happening. Do you think he can wrap his mind around the idea that she might be gone if and when he finds out?
I mean, I think he has to assume that she's missing, presumed dead.
Okay.
And he's taken upon himself to sort of, in her name, spread the word of these very powerful films and create some sort of movement. But it's certainly it's a military-based movement, and they have to protect themselves and try to create this network nationwide. But by the time we meet him, he's already his back is already against the wall. They've been found out, they've been attacked, and it all falls to pieces very quickly, and Wyatt has to figure out who his new allies are going to be if he's going to move forward.
Francis, tell me about Belle Mallory, concentration camp survivor in the Pacific, and kind of on a more specific quest than a lot of the characters that we've met, as far as I understand.
Right. She's a member of an underground movement called the Black Communist Rebellion, led by a man named Equiano Hampton. And they are really fighting for their own homeland. They're driven by their purpose is self-determination, to be able to define themselves and govern themselves and live for themselves without the oppression of the Japanese of the empire. And you see that journey, and you see them fight for what they believe in, for their own destiny, and where that goes, and what alliances they need to make and avoid, and how things play out.
Before we go, I need to know about the softer side of keto in season 4. I mean,
This is the season for you.
give me some tease. Give me something I can hold on to here.
This season focuses for the first time on a personal aspect of Keto's life. You get to see actually where he lives and his family, and how that influences who he is in his professional life, and the conflicts that causes. I think it's been really exciting for me to have this season to sort of explore that part of who he is, and also we still get new names for Keto to say, which are always so fun. Like this season, for in the past we've had season 1 Juliana Crane. That's always a good one. But this year we have, as you mentioned, Equiano Hampton. So there's personal stuff and new category, but
so much to look forward to. Hear him say all these names.
On Spotify, you can hear me say things like
the name list.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Obergruppenführer.
Out of date now, fortunately.
Stupagrappa Mima.
And now that I have my ringtone, I think we can wrap this up. So thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.